everyone, so in this video we're going to be starting measurements. So we're going to look a little bit at the common measurements that are used for length, mass, volume and time. And also we are going to look at finding perimeter and area, and then furthermore we're going to do surface area and volume and so on, right? Now we're just going to do a little recap first. So the units used for length, which you all would know already, just a quick recap: millimeters, centimeters, meters, kilometers. For mass, milligrams, grams, kilograms. Volume, milliliters and liters, most common ones. And time, we use hours, minutes and seconds. Now we will get into the time questions a little bit later on, right? Okay, so now you all are familiar with all of these units already. You would have met it in primary school and then again in secondary school at all the different levels from 1, 2, 3 and so on, right? So let's continue. So this is just a quick conversion, some pictures with conversion for length, for mass, for volume, right? And stuff you know already, right? If you look at the first picture with the length, the top arrows, the red arrows, to show as you change from a large unit to a smaller unit, you have to multiply. So from kilometers to meters, you multiply by 1,000. From meters to centimeters, you multiply by 100. From centimeters to 100, you multiply by 10. And if you want to change from meters to millimeters, we multiply by 110. So we multiply by already 1,000. Then the reverse, when we want to change a smaller unit to a larger unit, so this is the blue arrows here, we divide, right? So millimeters to centimeters, divide by 10, centimeters to meters, divide by 100, and meters to kilometers, divide by 1,000. Again, this is just a recap, things you all know already. And then we have the diagram for the mass. So to change from a ton to kilograms, multiply by 1,000. To change, so something to note, 1 ton is equal to 1,000 kilograms. This is actually a CXC multiple choice question where they ask you this, right? And kilograms to grams, you multiply by 1,000. Grams to milligrams, you multiply by 1,000. And then this one is, these are easy, right? And for the reverse, to change the smaller units to the bigger units, you divide by 1,000. And then for volume, the two most common units we use are the liter and the milliliter. So to change from a liter to milliliter, 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters, you multiply by 1,000. And the reverse, milliliters to liters, you divide by 1,000. It's also important to know that 1 liter is 1,000 cm cubed. Very important to note that, right? So let's continue on. Now we're going on to perimeter. Perimeter is something you all are very, very familiar with. So perimeter of any shape is the total distance. So total distance around the shape. The word around is very important. So the perimeter is the total distance around any given shape. And let's recap some formulae that you would have met before. So the perimeter of a square. We know that a square has 4 equal sides. Each side, all the sides are equal to each other. So the perimeter of a square would be side plus side plus side plus side, or side times 4, right? You could use either one that is easier for you to remember. So we have an example here. One side of the square is 5 cm, so the perimeter, again, you just add in all the 4 sides. So this would be 5 as well, this would be 5, and then the top would be 5. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, just 20, or 5 by 4, 20 cm, right? And now let's look at rectangle. So the rectangle, the perimeter is a rectangle, you know, is length and width we are looking at. So the two lengths are the same, and then the two widths, right, are the same. So the perimeter of a rectangle, length plus width plus length plus width. You would see the formula as well as 2 times the length plus width Again, choose whatever is easiest for you to remember. You're adding all these sides, right? So let's look at this example. Find the perimeter of this rectangle. We know the length here, that's 11, so therefore over here, here will be 11 cm as well, and the width is 4, so over here we 4 cm as well. And again, you just add all these sides and you would get 30 cm, right? If you wanted to use this other formula I showed you here, 2 times the length plus the width times length plus width, the length is 11 plus the width 4. So that's perimeter is equal to 2 times 11 plus 4 is 15, which will give you the 30 cm, right? Very simple. All these things you would have met already. Now we're looking at a circle. So find the distance around a circle, the perimeter, is also known as the circumference. And you would have met circumference already. The two formulae we have, if we are given a circle with the diameter, that formula is circumference equals pi times the diameter. If you are given the formula with the radius, so you can use circumference equals pi, we say 2 pi r, which is really 2 pi r. 2 times pi times r. Now you need to remember that the diameter is 2 times the size of a radius. So for a radius, let's say the radius is 5, the diameter is going to be 10. Or if in the reverse, if the diameter, let's say, is 30, the radius will be half of that, which is 15, right? And pi is usually used as 20 over 7 or 3.14. Now for CXC, a lot of times they tell you, well, use pi in whatever given question as 3.14. They might say use pi as 22 over 7. So if they are specific and they tell you which one to use for pi, you use that one. If they are not specific, you could use either one, right? Now later on I'll show you there's a formula sheet for math, paper 1 and paper 2 in CXC, and you actually get some of these formulae. You'll see later on, we'll go through, after we go through all the different formulae, we'll go through what formulae we actually given. Alright, so let's look at this question. Find the circumference of the circle, and we're going to use pi as 22 over 7. So again, I'm going to show you the two ways, right? So the formula is 2 pi r, so 2 times pi times r. The radius, we are given the radius, which is 14. So 2 times 22 over 7, let's put them over 1, right? You could use a calculator and work out everything. Or you can say, okay, well, this one is easy. 7 to 14 is 2. And then we just multiply the numbers at the top. 2 times 22 times 2. So the circumference is 88. Now, actually, this formula here for circumference, this is given in the formula sheet, right? So what if you wanted to use pi by diameter? So that will be 22 over 7. If the radius is 14, right, and the diameter is twice that. So 2 times 14 is 28, so that'll be 28 over 1, right? 7 is 7, 1, 7 to 28 is 4. So we get 22 times 4 is 88 centimeters. So as I said, they give it this formula here in the formula sheet. So it's good to know which formula, because a lot of children forget there's a formula sheet and totally ignore it. And many times you'll actually have to go back and use one or two of those formulae in the formula sheet, right? So now we're going to look at arc length, the formula for arc length. First of all, what is an arc? So an arc, if we look at a sector, right? Remember, a sector is like think about it like a pizza slice, right? Pizza slice from a circle. Like here, this is our sector here, right? Now the arc length is this line, this piece of the circumference here. So this piece of the circumference here, I'm drawing it very, very badly, but that's the arc length. So the arc length is from this piece here to this piece here. Is usually that that arc length is bounded by that angle they can be seen inside here, right? So the formula for arc length is angle, so the given angle, and normally in the formula sheet, I will show you it very soon. Arc length, theta. So theta is just a Greek symbol for that means angle, right? So it's the angle over 360 times 2 pi r. Now, I just want to show you all something, right? The arc, or a sector, I should say, a sector is piece of a circle. So that piece, that angle of the circle, this is, so that's why we get the theta over 360, and then we multiply by 2 pi r. 2 pi r is actually the formula for what? Circumference of the circle, right? So it's like a fraction of the circumference of the circle, right? So yes, arc length, angle over 360, or angle over 360 times 2 pi r, or theta, I should use the word theta, over 360 times 2 pi r. Let's look at this example here. Find the length of arc PQ. So PQ is from here to here. And they said state your answer to one decimal place. So the arc length, is equal to angle over 360 times 2 times pi times r. So the angle is 60, so that's 60 over 360 times 2, so it gives 2 over 1, times pi, 22 over 7, times 9 over 1. And you could simplify stuff like cross out things and so on. I was just showing you could use a calculator and you can multiply all the numbers at the top. 60 times 2 times 22 times 9. Then divide by 360 and then divide by 7 again, right? Or you could just work out the top there. So for example, what I mean is work out what 60, so let's work out 60 times 2 times 22 times 9. You'll get a big number. So you'll actually get 23,760, all divided by, work out 360 times 1 times 7 times 1. So that's divided by 2,520. And when you go ahead and you divide the 23,760 divided by the 2,520, you will get the 942 cm. Now a correction should be made here because it says state your answer to one decimal place. This is actually to two decimal place. So your answer should really be 9.4 cm. Right? So I just want to quickly, before I end this video, so this video covered perimeter, right? I want to show you some of the formula you get from what we did so far. So some of the formula you get in the formula sheet. Now this is not the whole entire formula sheet. This is just a piece of the formula sheet that deals with measurement, right? And I'm just going to show you what we did so far that we have, right? So you see we have the formula for circumference. C is equal to 2 pi r, where r is the radius. Good. And we also have the formula for arc length. So theta over 360 times 2 pi r, where theta is the angle subtended by the arc. Right? So theta, remember the theta is the angle subtended by the arc, as I said, like here's the arc, and this is the angle subtended by the arc, right? So there are two formulae we just met that are in the formula sheet, right? Now obviously basics like to find the perimeter for square or perimeter of those basic shapes, you should know that, right? Area of a square, well, we didn't get to areas as yet, right? But when we get to stuff like area of a square, of a rectangle, and so on, you're going to see that in the formula sheet. Those are very like baby formulae that you're supposed to know from way back when, right? So as we move along, we're going to see in our next video when we do the area, we're going to meet all these formula for area of a circle, area of a sector, area of a trapezium, right? So I'll see you all in my next video.